ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday we discussed from chapter 1 and verse number, I think 40. Verse number 40. So Arjuna is giving the final reason of this chapter, fourth reason why he doesn't want to fight. What will be the fault in destroying the our own family members and relatives? So when the family is destroyed, kulakshay means all these family members and relatives, they are destroyed, pranashyanti, then kula dharma sanatana, along with the destruction of the family, the kula dharma, which is sanatan principle, that is also destroyed. And dharme naste kulam krishnam, adharmo abhivattuta. As soon as the sanatan dharma, kula dharma, is destroyed, so immediately the general inclination of conditioned soul in this material world is to perform adharma. That gets manifested. So it is stated in the scriptures that all the conditioned souls, uh, they are Amish Madhyapan, Amish Madhya, uh, uh, Amish Madhya, Nityastu Jantu, Nityastu Jantu, that is mentioned. Uh, Vavayamish Madhya Seva, 11.5.11. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.11. In the purport, we can get it. लोके व्यव्यामिष मध्य सेवा नित्या हि जंतुर्नहि तत्र चोदना व्यवस्थितिस्तेषु विवाह यज्ञ सुराग्रहेराशु निवृत्तिरिष्टा. So in this material world, the conditioned soul is always inclined to sex, meat eating, and intoxication. Therefore, religious scriptures never actually encourage such activities. Although the scriptural injunctions provide for sex through sacred marriage, for meat eating through sacrificial offerings, and for intoxication through the acceptance of ritual cups of wine, such ceremonies are meant for the ultimate purpose of renunciation. So these three things are uh, a natural propensity, which a natural propensity of living entity in this material world. What are those three things? Loke means in this material world. Uh, Vavaya means sex life, sex indulgence. Amish means meat eating. And Madhya means intoxication. Seva, Nitya, always found. Nitya hi chanto. In this verse, the living entities are referred to as janto. Janto means actually pashu, animal. But why living entities are addressed as janto? Because of these three inclination. That means as long as a living entity, even if he has this material, this human form of body, if he is still inclined and if he is still so much harassed by the desire to fulfill these three natural propensities. If somebody, if a human being is too much, uh, he is too much attached for sex life, for eating meat, and for intoxication, that means he is no better than an animal. He is an animal. He is a pashu. So that's why, in order to make such kind of pashus, jantu, animals, into human being, the religious scriptures, they provide a regulation in these three activities. That's why this vivaha samskar is there. Vivaha yagya, sura grahir, nivrittirishta. Vyavasthitis teshu, in order to make it regulated. But the ultimate purpose is to renounce all these three propensities. Then only one can actually advance in spiritual life. But in order to become human being, these three propensities have been regulated by religious scriptures, by these three things: vivaha yagya and sacrifice, and for intoxication through acceptance of ritual cups of wine. So in this way. So, but the point, main point is, natural propensity of each and every living entity is this adharmic activity. So naturally, Arjuna knew this principle that everyone is inclined for these three acts of irreligion, adharma, that is natural propensity, swabhavik nature, that is swabhav, inclination. So, as soon as the family is destroyed, elder personalities are killed in this battlefield. So, there will be no religious functions. And all the family members, they will naturally get inclined for adharma vibhattuta. They will naturally will get inclined for performing adharmic activities, a religious activity. So that is a great danger. That is a great danger. So that's why in today's verse, Arjuna will state the effect. What will happen? First of all, Kulakshaya, the family is destroyed. The elder personalities are killed. That means family is destroyed. There will be no functions of religion. Nobody will follow religious principles. Mhm. Even we can see what to speak of other religious principles. People are not even inclined to get married. Just see, Vivaha Yagya. Vivaha Samskar, Vivaha Yagya is also it is also an important religious function. So this can be done only in the presence of elderly personalities. But nowadays, especially in Western countries, and it is coming in India also. Those younger generation who have become separated from their elder personalities, their parents, grandparents. So they are not inclined even to get married. That's why this living culture is coming into this human society, and this is the greatest danger. This is the greatest kind of sinful activity. They cannot understand what kind of habit fine they have to pay for this. Yamaraj is waiting for these kind of people for many thousands and thousands of years. They will be suffering in the hellish condition of life, and after that they will be given this body of cats and dogs. Hmm. Especially those who adopt this living culture, girlfriend boyfriend relationship, and perform this all kinds of nonsense activity. Their future life is completely doomed. A hellish condition of life, and then they will have to become cats and dogs. Because that is logical. Material nature will say, why you are wasting human body? If you want to live like cat and dog, so better get the body of cats and dogs. And without restriction, you mix with opposite sex and do whatever nonsense you want to do. Nobody will stop you. But if you have this human body, you are supposed to follow certain principles, certain religious principles. You cannot just independently choose what you want to do. Huh? Simply because two people, a girl, a boy, they agree, they are agreeing to this proposal that okay, we can stay together. That does not make you completely free to act according to your desire. You are not independent. This is the greatest mistake, that this is our body and we are independent. Whatever way we want to use, we can use. No, this is not the independence. We have to abide by the religious principles. This is must. We cannot go against the scriptural principles. If we have this human form of body, if we go against the religious principles, the scriptural principles, then definitely we are sure to get animal form of life. There is no doubt about it. So, in order to check this, in order to stop this kind of sinful activities, which will make human beings to suffer a lot in the future and then finally get a body of an animal. So that's why this Kula Dharma have been given. And elder personalities, they are responsible for carrying out these responsibilities. They are responsible for executing these Sanatan principles of Dharma. But when this is not there, then immediately adharma comes into the picture. And when adharma comes, the very first thing what happens in today's verse Arjuna is mentioning. अधर्माभिभवात् कृष्ण प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रिया स्त्रीषु दुष्टासु वार्ष्णेया jayate varna sankara. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted. And from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. So this is the greatest danger. Uh, as soon as this irreligion, adharma abhibhavat Krishna, having become predominant, as soon as irreligion becomes predominant, the very first thing what happens, pradushanti kulistriya, the ladies, womanhood of the family, they get polluted. And Sri Shudushtasu, when the womanhood of a family, they become polluted. Varshneya, O descendant of Vrishni, Krishna, Jayate Varna Sankara, then unwanted progeny will come. That means all those children who are produced from polluted culture, this culture of living, and even this so-called marriage system, if it is not properly done, it's not just a matter of ritual. It's not just a matter of the ritual. Vivaha samskar means the principles should be concerned. Religious principles are important to follow. The attitude should be there. And then when one acts like this, then it is proper. Otherwise, one is simply acting like cats and dogs. And in this polluted manner, only unwanted populations are generated. And all those unwanted populations nowadays they have filled the entire world. All those. That's why it's very difficult to preach to younger generation. If you go to any school and college, you will speak to them. As soon as they hear Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, oh, no interest. They make fun. They become disinterested. They are not at all inclined. They have no even sense of any kind of religion. They don't even accept the existence of God, even if you prove them. Give all the evidence, logical, scientific reasons, and proof from the scriptures, and you show them the bad effect of not following the religious principles. Still, they have no brain to even understand what to speak of trying to follow. Only very few rare souls, like all of you, here only 15 students have come. So all of you, you have at least some pious intelligence. Your intelligence is little bit pure. That's why you are able to accept, okay, yes, Bhagavad Gita is nice. We should have knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and we should accept the authority of God. Otherwise, very difficult. If you suppose you conduct a seminar for 500 students, hardly very few, 4 5, at max 10 students will show some interest to further know about the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And as soon as you begin to give the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, out of them, 50% or more than that, they will become disinclined because they will understand, if I go ahead with this knowledge discussion of Bhagavad Gita, then all my desires will be hampered. Because they have this tendency to act sinfully, to perform sinful activity. But when they come to the reality, immediately they become alarmed that, oh, I will have to give up my sinful activity. No, 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 I don't want. That's why we see even in the temple, especially in Mumbai, so many young couples they come. but they don't take interest in Bhagavad Gita. In younger generation, only those young students they take interest. Those who are protected from their parents, those who are not polluted, they are not polluted from all kinds of sinful activity. Or second class of people are those who have some kind of heartbreaking, some kind of breakup is there. Uh, So they are frustrated with performing sinful activity. So either if they are frustrated with performing all kinds of sinful activities, then they may, that is also not guaranteed, then they may take interest in knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And if they seriously practice the principles, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and Bhagavad Gita knowledge, then they gradually over the period of time they overcome all those difficulties and they become properly situated. So this is one class of student. And another class of student is who are having some pure background, means they are from their parents sides, culturally they are pious, or their habits are pure, they have little brain, pure intelligence, that okay, we should not get involved in sinful activity. They, although attraction may be there to perform sinful activities, but they have this brain that these are all nonsense things. So they may also get interested. Otherwise, most of the youth nowadays, they are so much infatuated with the desire to enjoy sense gratification that they cannot think beyond that. That there must be something beyond this, there must be something better than this. If you give Bhagavad Gita, if you explain the philosophy of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, they think, what is this? It's boring for them. Huh? The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, each and every verse of Bhagavad Gita is so pure. Bhagavad Gita is emanating from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So it's just a complete nectar. But nectar for whom? Nectar for a pure hearted soul. If a pure devotee hears Bhagavad Gita, reads Bhagavad Gita, he experiences such an immense nectar within his heart. He gets attracted towards the Supreme Lord Krishna, that he cannot give up reading and hearing and preaching Bhagavad Gita. Again and again, he is inspired to speak about Bhagavad Gita, to hear about Bhagavad Gita, to remember the verses of Bhagavad Gita, how nicely Krishna is instructing, how nicely Krishna is requesting, ordering that become my devotee, man manabhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. A devotee, a pure devotee, whose heart is pure and who has fallen in love with the Supreme Lord Krishna, as soon as he hears that Krishna says, Man mana, always think of me, the devotee becomes enthused with the desire. Yes, I will always remember Krishna. I shall never forget Krishna. Whatever may happen, even even if difficulties come in my life, I will not forget Krishna. And he sincerely prays to Krishna. He goes to Krishna and he prays, My dear Lord, you are Supreme Lord, Supreme Controller, and you are present within the core of my heart as Paramatma. So my request is that let me not forget your lotus feet even for a single moment. That is the desire and prayer of a devotee. He prays like this. And Krishna, being merciful, understanding the heart of such a devotee, he arranges such a situation in the life of a devotee that a devotee will never be able to forget Krishna, wherever he may be. He may be apparently engaged in some kind of material activity, but Krishna will make sure that he never forgets himself. Uh, and Krishna will make some arrangement that some or other he is reminded about Krishna again and again, again and again. So that is the advantage of a devotee who has a prayerful heart for Krishna. So in this way, a devotee's life is completely different. A non-devotee who is attracted for material sense gratification, he cannot appreciate the method and practices of devotees. For them, it's a boring life. Sometimes some of the students, youth, they come and they ask, what you do throughout the day. We explain to them that early morning we get up, we attend a Mangalarti, we chant Hare Krishna, we hear Bhagavatam, give Bhagavatam class, and then whole day we are just doing some kind of activity in the service of Krishna. So they think, what kind of boring life is? You have no girlfriend, you have no party, you cannot go to restaurant, you cannot go to cinema. So for them, Only these things are the sources of happiness. They think like this, but actually all these things are the sources of miseries. But they think that those who are in the temple, brahmacharis, because they have no girlfriend, no, they cannot go to restaurant to eat, and they cannot watch movies, cinemas, and so their life is boring. Uh, and our life is very nice, bindas. If your life is so much bindas, so why you are getting frustrated? Why you are coming to the temple? Have you seen any of the brahmachari going to the cinema theater and going there and watching movies? No. So we don't go in your zone, but you come to our temple. What does this mean? This means that even if you, although you have all the opportunities to enjoy sense gratification, but still you are not happy. You are frustrated. There is vacuum within the heart, and that's why you come to the temple, thinking that maybe if we come close to the Lord and if we attend kirtan and arti, maybe we'll become some satisfied. That's why you come. But we don't require to go out. We only go out just to bring foolish rascal people like you to the temple. That is the only reason we go out of the temple. There are devotees who are not engaged in preaching activities. They don't even go out of the boundary wall of Hare Krishna land for many many months also. They don't even keep us this keypad mobile also. There is very nice senior devotee here. Whole day he chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, 108 rounds he chants every day and performs 2 times Aarti of the Supreme Lord. Last 40 years he is doing this. And he doesn't have even his mobile phone. He doesn't keep even mobile phone. But he is completely blissful, bindas. I have never seen him in anxiety, frustration, depression. No, such a blissful life. But nowadays, if you tell somebody that you don't keep Android phone, you don't keep phone, it is next to committing suicide because this Android phone, smartphone has become second Paramatma, especially for younger generation. Just like as soon as Paramatma leaves the body, the soul also leaves the body, and then the person dies. Similarly, if you tell a youth, a student that give up your mobile phone, so that is like the Paramatma has left the body and he will leave. Uh, so that is the level of frustration. But say devotees, they don't require anything, any gadgets, any electronics, and nothing. What to speak of these electronic gadgets? They don't even care for their basic maintenance. Also, they are dependent upon completely dependent upon Krishna. If Krishna is giving, so he's ready to fulfill basic necessities, all right. If some or other, if we don't get some basic necessities fulfilled, that is also okay. We'll chant Hare Krishna, no problem. So this is the difference between life of a devotee and non-devotee. इसको बोलते हैं जमीन आसमान का अंतर. Although in the same city, Mumbai, living, but devotees within the Hare Krishna land, they are not living in Mumbai. They are out of Mumbai. They are living in Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, ISKCON is Vaikuntha. This is the proof. With consciousness of a devotee, depending upon the consciousness of a devotee, ISKCON temple or Vaikuntha. Because devotee is situated in such a pure and perfect consciousness. So, so in this verse, Arjuna he is predicting as soon as irreligious activities arise, the kulistriya, the womanhood of the family, they get polluted, and from such polluted womanhood, jayate varna sankara. Varna sankara means unwanted progeny. There is asuri pravritti, a demonic mentality, demonic children they get born. They have no interest in following any kinds of religious principle. That's why, if at all we want to improve the society, uh, so this Garvadan Samskar is very much required, very, very important. And especially the major role is on women. If a woman, if a Mataji, she is very nicely trained in Krishna consciousness, she can give birth to very nice children, uh, Krishna conscious children. And proper Vivah Samskar, then Garvadan Samskar, then training to the children nicely, then they grow up very nice to become nice devotees. And if If the womanhood are polluted, then it's very difficult. The entire society becomes polluted. That's why the this progress of human society depends upon the consciousness of a woman. Woman has a great role to perform. If a woman has very nice consciousness, pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness, then that can affect others' consciousness also. We have seen, we have experienced in a family where a woman, Mataji, is a devotee. So by her being a devotee, gradually over the period of time, all the family members they become devotee. Uh, the children who are born from her, the children who will take birth from her womb, all they will also become devotee. And husband, parents, everyone, because she is cooking and she has a devotional attitude. She is Krishna conscious, she chants. So she, with love and affection, she offers the bhoga to the Supreme Lord, and then it becomes prasad, and all the family members they take prasadam. Then naturally, they get affected, infected with Krishna consciousness, because it is said ahar shuddho sattva shuddho. Uh, as soon as one's food is pure, shuddha, if one eats pure food, then his existence becomes shuddha, pure. His mind existence becomes shuddha, pure means his mind also becomes pure, intelligence also becomes pure. The pure food means doesn't mean that no chemicals. That is physically pure. Pure food means the food which is cooked by a devotee. Uh, if a devotee who has pure consciousness, if he cooks the, and he offers the bhoga to the Lord, then that prasadam, Mahaprasadam has great potential. Anyone who will eat that Mahaprasadam, he will also get the Krishna consciousness. That's why those who are strict devotees, they don't eat anywhere and everywhere. They avoid to eat anywhere because the consciousness, the food which we eat, the person who has cooked the food, that person's consciousness will be transferred in our heart. That's why it's very important not to eat food cooked by a non-devotee, or not to eat food cooked by a person who has inclination to perform sense gratification, who has material desires. That's why this is the reason why we don't just avoid non-veg, we don't just avoid food without onion garlic, but those who are very strict, those who are very serious, they even avoid any outside food which is cooked by non-devotees. They avoid it. The only food which is cooked by a devotee and offered by a devotee and served by a devotee, that should be only taken. But okay, this may not be applicable right now for everyone, because some of you might be in hostels and college and might be traveling and family. So that's all right. But we should try our best. Whatever best we can do, we should try. And gradually, over the period of time, if somebody is very sincere, after he or she gets married, then he or she can control things, and they can cook nicely in their own home and offer to the Lord and take as prasadam. And then gradually they can come to the standard that no outside cooked item should be offered to the Lord and should be taken. But this is a important thing. In this verse, Arjuna is telling that Varna Shankara will be produced if the womanhood are polluted. So I think time, okay, purport will read. Good population in human society is the basic principle for for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The Varnashram religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. So earlier, in Vedic time, Vedic society, these Varnashram principles are so nicely arranged that especially the women, they are always engaged in some kind of religious activities. So there is no time, no opportunity for them to get polluted. No time and no opportunity for unnecessary sinful sense gratification. So in this way, they are very nicely engaged in religious activity, and then they produce a good population, dharmic religious population. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanak Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So, the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnashram system. On the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. So I have already cleared all these points that protection of women is very much required in Vedic society. That's why uh, um, Vedic Varnashram system dharma is so nicely designed that women are very nicely protected and always very nicely engaged in dharmic religious activities so that they may not get polluted and they may produce very nice religious children. Okay, so with this we shall stop. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Yes, anyone is having any question, you can ask.